Is there oil and gas in Malaysia? This is a very common question, especially if you are new or a beginner in the oil and gas industry. And in this particular video and a series of other videos that I am going to create, you and I are going to explore the oil and gas value chain in Malaysia with an objective of understanding how the oil and gas industry in Malaysia is structured and also the opportunities that are available in that particular sector. It is important if you are an entrepreneur or a business owner or you are a professional who is looking for the oil and gas opportunities in Malaysia. As an entrepreneur or a business owner, you may be seeking business opportunities across the oil and gas value chain in Malaysia. And if you're a professional, you might be looking for job opportunities that you can get to tap into in the oil and gas industry in Malaysia. Oil and gas is a very important industry when it comes to the economy of Malaysia. However, when people think of Malaysia, what they think about is beautiful beaches, tourism, palm oil, among other things. But beyond those, Malaysia is also known for a very other important asset called oil and gas. For decades, Malaysia has been one of the largest oil and gas player in Southeast Asia. And so, to answer your question as to whether there is oil and gas in Malaysia, the simple and straightforward answer is yes. Malaysia has oil and gas resources, and in fact, is one of the largest LNG producer and exporter from Southeast Asia. For context and a brief history, it is important for you to learn and understand that Malaysia has had a very long history when it comes to the oil and gas industry, with the first oil discovery having been made in Miri, Sarawak. Since then, of course, the oil and gas industry in Malaysia has grown and it has developed into a very important aspect of Malaysian economy. Today, oil and gas in Malaysia contributes significantly to the country's GDP, export earning, as well as government revenues. So as you can see, oil and gas industry in Malaysia exists, and it is an important part of what they do and part of the economy. In fact, oil and gas is highly structured in Malaysia, with Petronas, which is the state-owned oil and gas company, managing and overseeing the oil and gas resources in Malaysia. And if you are like me, you are a fan and a supporter of Formula One racing, it's possible that you have already seen the Petronas logo or the logo of Petronas actually branded into the Mercedes F1 team. And there are many reasons and also benefits why a company like Petronas would actually sponsor a big Formula One team like Mercedes, which actually would be part of their global outreach and also putting their name in the global map. If you are an entrepreneur or a business owner and are serious about looking or exploring oil and gas business opportunities in oil and gas, I can be able to help you. I'm going to leave a link in the description below, which is a link for you to be able to book one-on-one call or one-on-one strategy call with me, which is actually a paid offer where we can be able to explore ways on how you can be able to get involved in the oil and gas sector. And the idea here is that if you are a business owner, you should explore the many oil and gas opportunities that exist across the oil and gas value chain in Malaysia. And it is important for you to actually figure out how you can become a supplier of goods and services, especially to the upstream oil and gas industry. To further understand the oil and gas industry in Malaysia, it is important for you to know that that sector is divided into three subsectors or segments. There is the upstream sector, the midstream sector, and there is the downstream oil and gas sector in Malaysia. The upstream oil and gas sector is actually one of the most major subsectors of oil and gas value chain in Malaysia, and it has a lot of oil reserves, mostly found offshore in South China Sea. The upstream oil and gas in Malaysia actually deals with the exploration and production of crude oil and natural gas. It is important to note that crude oil from Malaysia is of high quality, which makes it very attractive in the international markets. And if crude oil is important in Malaysia, you should actually know that natural gas is even more significant. Malaysia is one of the largest producers and exporters of LNG to countries such as Japan, and it plays a very significant role when it comes to the earnings that the country gets from such exports. If you are an entrepreneur or a business owner, you can actually look into the opportunities or the business opportunities that exist in the upstream oil and gas sector in Malaysia. It also provides you with an opportunity to be able to invest in that sector, including the support sector of that value chain. When you think of the midstream oil and gas industry in Malaysia, it is worth noting that the country has one of the largest LNG complexes, which is located in Bintulu, Sarawak. Malaysia is also expanding its LNG export capacity through floating FLNG units as well as upgrading its terminals. What you're also going to find within the midstream oil and gas sector in Malaysia is an extensive pipeline and gas processing network that connect oil fields to domestic consumers as well as export terminals. When it comes to the downstream oil and gas sector in Malaysia, you are going to find out that it is actually very well developed. It has refining facilities as well as petrochemical production. Malaysia has modern refining facilities, and one of such is Pengerang Integrated Complex located in Johor. And you're also going to find petrochemical production, which is aimed at meeting domestic as well as export demand. As you can see, the oil and gas industry in Malaysia does exist, and Malaysia has oil and gas resources. It is important that if you are seeking opportunities across the oil and gas value chain in Malaysia, you should explore the upstream, the midstream, and the downstream oil and gas segments. This is because as an entrepreneur or a business owner, you can be able to find opportunities across the entire value chain. And depending on your business objectives, you can actually be able to invest across the three oil and gas segments, and it is upon you to decide on where you want to start. If you are a professional or someone who wants to build a career in the oil and gas industry in Malaysia, you can also explore job opportunities across those three oil and gas segments in Malaysia. I'm actually very happy that you are here, that you are interested in learning and understanding the oil and gas in Malaysia, that you are curious enough to want to know the entire oil and gas value chain in Malaysia and whether there are oil and gas resources in Malaysia. If you are an entrepreneur or a business owner and are serious about looking or exploring oil and gas business opportunities in oil and gas, I can be able to help you. I'm going to leave a link in the description below, which is a link for you to be able to book one-on-one call or one-on-one strategy call with me, which is actually a paid offer where we can be able to explore ways on how you can be able to get involved in the oil and gas sector. And the idea here is that if you are a business owner, you should explore the many oil and gas opportunities that exist across the oil and gas value chain in Malaysia. And it is important for you to actually figure out how you can become a supplier of goods and services, especially to the upstream oil and gas industry. When you take time to actually understand the three segments of the oil and gas industry in Malaysia, you give yourself an opportunity to be able to make money in the oil and gas sector by providing or offering solutions that can be able to solve some of the problems that operators or other players within the oil and gas sector in Malaysia are actually facing. I do believe that there is room for you, there is room for your business if you are an entrepreneur or a business owner, or there is room for you to be able to work in the oil and gas industry, especially if you're looking at the opportunities that are available in Malaysia. If you have enjoyed this particular video, I want you to watch the video on your screen right now. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not, and I'm going to see you in my next or future videos.